we need to talk about now boiling point. I just started yesterday. Boiling point is basically temperature at which vapor pressure of a liquid equals to atmospheric pressure. Let's say this is 1 atmosphere. So temperature at which this vapor pressure equals to atmospheric pressure will be known as its boiling point. Small b, sorry. You can write small b. दिख रहा है ना सबको? So once we have this as definition of boiling point, second thing we need to learn is how does boiling point changes with change in atmospheric pressure. That also you have read about. When we go on mountains, the atmospheric pressure reduces, and when it reduces, the boiling point will also reduce. मान लो 1 atmosphere की जगह पे this is 760 mm of Hg. So at some place it is 720 or 740. It is less. If it would be less, the liquid will boil at lower temperature here, like this. And similarly, if it is more, liquid will boil at higher temperature. That normally happens when we use pressure cooker. If you increase the pressure, liquid will boil at higher temperature. Any doubt about this? So you know about boiling point and how it changes with atmospheric pressure. So when it is 1 atmosphere, it is called normal boiling point. TB stands for normal boiling point. And there is a relation between boiling point and critical temperature. It is called empirical relation. Normally it is found to be equal to 0.66. This is a general empirical relation between the boiling point and critical temperature of a liquid. किसी को डाउट? नोट करेंगे जल्दी से, फिर हम आगे की बात करते हैं. हो गया नोट बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Now we have another topic that is also something very simple. It is effect of impurity on boiling point. That also you know about. बता सकता है कोई क्या होगा इफेक्ट ऑफ इम्प्योरिटी इन बॉइलिंग पॉइंट? बताइए कौन बता रहा है?
सर दो तरह के इम्प्योरिटी हो सकते हैं सर, वोलेटाइल नॉन वोलेटाइल.
नाम बताओ अपना, कौन बोल रहा है? हु इज दिस?
Yes.
हाँ हरीश, प्लीज टेल मी.
सर
विकास बताइए.
sir non volatile impurities will stay on the surface and reduce the boiling point. Increase the boiling point.
Okay, good. And what will happen if you have volatile impurity?
Sir, in that case, volatile impurity will also contribute to the vapor pressure, sir. So the effect will be negligible, sir.
Negligible, or it will reduce the boiling point?
Yes.
You might have heard about steam distillation, where for meaning decreasing the boiling point of a oil, we add steam into it, and it boils at lower temperature. पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने? Method of purification you have studied ना? Method of purification 11th 12th में कहीं पढ़ा होगा, या 10th में पढ़ा मेरे ख्याल से, 10th में. Anyway, so what we are trying to know here, if you have a impurity which is non-volatile, number one, we add a non-volatile impurity like salt in water or sugar in water or any other substance which is non-volatile. So it is expected that vapor pressure will decrease and boiling point is going to increase. And you read about elevation in boiling point in colligative property also. पढ़ा है ना आप लोगों ने elevation in boiling point? So for this is vapor pressure and this is temperature. For a normal liquid, graph is like this. So we get its boiling point here. Let's say it is T naught. T naught is for pure solvent. Now you add a salt into this. So vapor pressure is going to decrease and will meet this curve at higher temperature. So it becomes, it will boil at higher temperature. So let's say it becomes T2 or TS, boiling point of solution. So delta TB is the elevation in boiling point. It is boiling point of solution minus boiling point of solvent. And there is elevation in boiling point when you add a non-volatile impurity into this. समझ में आ रहा सबको? सागर? मानसी? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. No
Okay.
doubt, sir.
Okay, ये पढ़ रखा है आप लोगों ने, just repeat कर रहे हैं हम. So topic is effect of impurity on boiling point. Answer is there are two type of impurities. One is non-volatile, like salt added into water, sugar added into water. These kind of impurities increase the boiling point of pure solvent. And this we have read about elevation in boiling point. This is not in your syllabus. I'm just trying to remind you that you have studied this also. It is connected to your topic. So simply speaking, boiling point is going to increase when we add non-volatile solute or impurity. And number two, if you add volatile impurity, if the impurity is volatile, then vapor pressure of the two components combined together should meet atmospheric pressure. So boiling point of the pure liquid is going to decrease, meaning boiling point of solution is going to decrease when you add volatile impurity. Any doubt? So this is all about effect of impurity on boiling point. पूछना है इसमें किसी को? Yes? Okay. Now I have a graph where we can show that if you have, let's say, liquids like water, then you have alcohol, suppose it is methanol, and then you have ether. Like this, any ether you can say. So normally what you find, boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. Or boiling point of alcohol is around 70 degrees centigrade. And for ether, it is around 40 degrees centigrade. So that means ether is most volatile. So if you have a graph like this, suppose I have shown three curves. This is vapor pressure versus temperature. And you need to tell which curve belongs to which liquid. So you can always tell the third curve where the boiling point is maximum belongs to water, second belongs to methanol, and first belongs to ethanol. If you are given these three choices. समझ में आ रहा है क्या सबको?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is again something I wanted to discuss. The last point about vapor pressure is there is one more empirical relation between enthalpy of vaporization. This is molar enthalpy of vaporization and boiling point. it is supposed to be 10.5 into R. This is an empirical relation since both the quantities, enthalpy of vaporization and boiling point, both are interconnected. Both depends on intermolecular interaction of a liquid molecules. Meaning, if you have a liquid whose boiling point would be higher, then enthalpy of evaporation will also be higher, because you know that in the last class I told you what is enthalpy of vaporization. When 1 mole of a liquid it changes into vapors at boiling point. अगर वाटर के अंदर हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग है तो बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी ज्यादा है, और बॉइलिंग पॉइंट ज्यादा होगा तो इसको वेपर्स में कन्वर्ट करना भी थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा एज कंपेयर टू ईथर और इथेनॉल. So ratio of these two, meaning this is the enthalpy required to convert 1 mole of a liquid into vapors at boiling point. This is called enthalpy of vaporization. So ratio of these two comes out to be 10.5 into R. R is again universal gas constant. It has a value as 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole. So if I use here 8.314, this multiplied by R will give you something around 88. So this is again one formula. And one more thing to learn here is this formula holds true only for liquids which do not have any association between the molecule, which is like hydrogen bonding has is there in water, or you can have hydrogen bonding in ethanol also, methanol also. So normally we speak here that this holds true for non-associated liquids. This is true for non-associated liquids and having molar mass at around 100 gram per mole, like benzene or gram per mole. These examples are benzene and toluene. Okay, पढ़ा हुआ ना आपने toluene के बारे में? And number 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay, number 2 I'm writing at the top. For water and alcohols, the value is more than 10.5 R because they have association because of hydrogen bonding. And number 3, for liquids of hydrogen and helium, the value is much below than 10.5 R. Only for cyclohexane, benzene, toluene, it holds true because they do not have higher association between the molecules. They have normal van der Waals interaction, you can say. The interactions are highly negligible or very, very low. समझ में आ रहा है क्या बच्चों? So this is all about vapor pressure property.
सर वो थर्ड पॉइंट में क्या लिखा आपने? H2 and
थर्ड में लिखा है हाइड्रोजन एंड हीलियम.
ओके, थैंक.
Hydrogen and helium. The value is much below than 10.5 R. Again, क्यों होगा? आपने पढ़ा है इनका जो force of attraction था बहुत कम होता है हाइड्रोजन एंड हीलियम. इनका अदरवाइज भी पढ़ा आप लोगों ने gaseous state में how do these gases show very different behavior than other gases. कंप्रेसिबिलिटी फैक्टर जेट की वैल्यू देखिए कि मोर देन 1 आती है हमेशा फॉर हाइड्रोजन एंड हीलियम। पढ़ा ना ये सब आपने?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
हो गया बच्चों? हटा दो इसको। नोट हो गया बच्चों?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So this is all about vapor pressure. Now we'll talk about viscosity. ओके, विस्कोसिटी आपने पढ़ा हुआ है पहले। व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट विस्कोसिटी आपने प्रैक्टिकल्स भी किए हैं और okay, you have read about practicals also. You know that viscosity basically refers to it is internal resistance to the flow of the liquid, or you can say internal resistance between the adjacent layers of a liquid towards the flow of the liquid. So यहाँ पे आपने meaning you know about, suppose I have this as a normal pipe where a liquid flows. Then we show that this liquid has various layers of molecules, and these are adjacent layers that we have shown. And if these are molecules of a liquid, these molecules are going to flow with a very low speed, which are in contact with the walls of the pipe, because they feel a resistance to their flow. Now, since the molecule in the other layer have intermolecular interactions, so they transfer their resistance to the adjacent layer, resulting in decrease in speed of the adjacent layer. And if this continues, the adjacent layers are going to drag behind the other layers, and a time may come when liquid will stop flowing. If it is a stationary, if it is a horizontal pipe, liquid is supposed to slow down and it will not flow. Now, if we want liquid to flow, we have to tilt the pipe little bit. Suppose यहाँ पे we have honey in a bottle. If you keep it straight like this, honey may not come out. If you want it to come out, you have to slightly tilt it. When you tilt it, you apply a force. That tangential force which we apply has a symbol of F. This tangential force is proportional to, meaning how much force is required for the flow of the uniform flow of the liquid. It will depend upon number one, this is called area of contact. पढ़ा हुआ नहीं आपने बच्चों? प्रैक्टिकल में पढ़ा था कि?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
तो ये सब आपने पढ़ा हुआ है। मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ, मेरे लैपटॉप में कुछ और भी खुल गया है, so I have to just take a minute. Okay, so this area of contact refers to, suppose we have a narrow pipe, then we have a larger pipe. So what will happen? The layers, the horizontal layers that we are talking about, the area is going to increase or decrease. Okay, so when the layers come in contact, layers of molecules of liquid, they're like this. More the area, more is the interaction, and lesser the area, lesser is the interaction. So force required for uniform flow of the liquid is proportional to A. A is area of contact. It is also proportional to difference in velocity, du. Suppose this layer is moving with a speed of 5, the other upper layer is moving with a speed of 50. The difference is more, so resistance offered will also be more. If you have now, let's say the speed is 5 and 100, then also the difference of velocity is going to increase. As a result, resistance offered by one layer to another will also increase, and viscosity would be more. Third is distance between the layer. If the layers are very far from each other, very far, weaker and lesser force will be required. So we have these three factors on which this force which is required for uniform flow of the liquid depends. If I combine them together, it becomes A du by dx. Du by dx is also known as velocity gradient, and this further can be written as, this is neta, which is coefficient of viscosity, A again du upon dx, or now we can define neta. If you have area of contact as unity, it may be 1 meter square. Velocity difference also unity, that is 1 meter, 1 meter per second, and distance between two layers also unity. Then F would be equal to neta. So this is the coefficient of viscosity. It is the force required for uniform flow of the liquid when the adjacent layer has a unit area of contact, unit velocity difference, and are at unit distance apart. It is also defined as force required per unit area when velocity gradient is 1. ऐसे भी कह सकते हैं, अगर du by dx 1 होगा और area 1 होगा तो भी F would be equal to neta. So write down one definition of coefficient of viscosity, that is neta. Coefficient of viscosity. It's the force per unit area. It's the force per unit area required for uniform flow of a liquid, uniform flow of a liquid when the adjacent layers, have unit velocity difference, at unit distance apart. At unit distance apart. कोई डाउट है तो पूछेंगे इस रिलेशन के ऊपर. यस, एनी डाउट? शाहरुख खान जी हैं आप क्लास में आए हुए? यस, एनी डाउट टू एनीवन?
No, sir.
No, sir.
ओके, सो ये पढ़ा हुआ है आपने, और यहाँ पर अब अगर हम आपसे कुछ पूछेंगे इससे related, let's say we have again 3 liquids. One is H2O, another is ethanol, C2H5OH, and another is glycerol. इसको मैं चेंज कर रहा हूं, इथेनॉल की बात नहीं करना चाहते. We want to talk about इथाइलिन ग्लाइकॉल, और वाटर को भी मैं ऐसे दिखाना चाहता हूं. This is liquid number 1, 2 and 3. Now what you observe in these three liquids in terms of intermolecular interaction, or you can say in terms of hydrogen bonding. Can you comment on hydrogen bonding of water in comparison to ethanol, ethylene glycol and glycerol? Comment कर सकते हैं क्या? Yes, Varsha. Sanjana, you know about hydrogen bonding? कैसे बढ़ती है, किन फैक्टर पे डिपेंड करती है? संजना?
Yes, sir.
हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग के बारे में जानते हैं ना आप?
सर लास्ट वाले की थर्ड की सबसे ज्यादा होगी, फिर सेकंड की, फिर फर्स्ट की.
गुड. तो इसमें किन फैक्टर पे आप इसको देखकर बता पाएंगे कि कैसे, क्यों ज्यादा होगी?
सर O और H के बीच में जो bond है उसके डिपेंड पे बताया मैंने.
देखिए सिंपल सी बात है. When we talk about water, we have this kind of structure, HOH, and there is a polarity in the OH bond, which results into intermolecular hydrogen bonding like this. ऐसे बनता है ना हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड. So we normally have OH bonds. इसमें एक है वाटर में. Then we have 2 OH bonds, and then we have 3 OH bonds. More the number of OH bonds, more will be the hydrogen bonding, and more the intermolecular interactions, more will be the viscosity. So ये वैसे भी आप जानते हैं, वाटर का फ्लो आपने देखा है. This ethylene glycol is used in the ink. Ink कितना viscous होती है आप जानते हैं. Then you have seen this glycerin. Glycerin also you have used. It is the most viscous because one molecule has 3 HOH bonds, and these OH bonds result into more hydrogen bonding per molecule and more intermolecular interactions. Stronger the intermolecular interaction, more will be the viscosity. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों सबको? Yes, any doubt? चलिए, so this is all about background of viscosity. How normally we understand it is simply defined as internal resistance between the adjacent layers of a liquid towards flow of the liquid is known as viscosity. Okay, and viscosity again can be understood by this example. Here what we need to observe is the layers are moving parallel to each other. Can you talk about this type of flow? What is this called? कोई बताएगा मेरे को?
Laminar flow.
So
Laminar flow.
Okay, that's good. So laminar flow जो है हमारा, क्या हम इसको जैसे वाटर बड़े पाइप्स में आता है हमारे घरों में, उसमें ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं, या फिर रिवर में?
पाइप में.
Yes.
सब पाइप में ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं.
पाइप में. रिवर में टर्बुलेंट फ्लो.
कैपिलरी में ऑब्जर्व कर सकते हैं.
देखो, ना तो रिवर में होगा, ना पाइप्स में होगा,
कैपिलरी में
ओनली कैपिलरी ट्यूब में होगा. ठीक है, बाकी जगह पे टर्बुलेंट फ्लो होता है. लेयर्स डू नॉट मूव पैरेलल टू ईच अदर बिकॉज दे आर मोर इन नंबर्स, so they are not able to move in such a systematic manner. ये ट्रैक्टर रैली की तरह मूव करती हैं. ओके,
सर वेलोसिटी पे भी तो डिपेंड करता है सर.
हाँ.
क्रिटिकल वेलोसिटी से अगर ज्यादा वेलोसिटी होगी तो सर फ्लो जो होता है टर्बुलेंट हो जाता है. और
हाँ, वो भी है, लेकिन जनरली अगर हम इस तरह से बात कर रहे हैं, जैसे हमने आपको एग्जांपल दिए थे, तो दैट इज ऑब्जर्व्ड इन कैपिलरी ट्यूब। मतलब जैसे आपने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया है अपने लैब के अंदर, तो यू हैव यूज्ड ऑस्टवाल्ड विस्कोमीटर, किया था बच्चों, टू डिटरमाइन विस्कोसिटी ऑफ लिक्विड।
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So why
Yes,
we
sir.
use viscometer? उसमें तो हम टाइम ऑफ फ्लो निकालते हैं ना, for a given volume of the liquid. We can do that in pipette also, burette also. Why do we use viscometer?
So we use
To make the flow
viscometers.
of water laminar, sir, it ensures that
Yes, Harish.
only laminar flow of liquid occurs in
Yes.
Oswald viskometer.
Your viscometer have a capillary tube. Only there we can observe this laminar flow. Okay. समझ में आ रहा है क्या बच्चों? You can't observe laminar flow in case of pipette and burette. Otherwise, we could have done it in using pipette. आराम से हो जाता है। 25 ml का पिपेट लो, टाइम निकाल लो, टाइम ऑफ फ्लो। सही कह रहा हूं ना मैं संजना?
Yes, sir.
तो अंकुल, आपको डाउट है इसमें कोई, ये लैमिनार फ्लो के बारे में?
No, sir.
Okay, so this is another thing that you have to understand, that when we talk about laminar flow, it means that different adjacent layers move parallel to each other, and that is feasible when we have very narrow tube like capillary tube. Okay, we talk about how to determine viscosity in the lab. ये भी किया हुआ है आप लोगों ने, जो अभी हम बात कर रहे थे ऑस्टवाल्ड विस्कोमीटर की। आपने एक इक्वेशन यूज की थी, याद है आप लोगों को कौन सी इक्वेशन यूज की थी? ओके, वन मोर थिंग, कैन वी टॉक अबाउट यूनिट्स ऑफ विस्कोसिटी? आपने पढ़ा है यूनिट्स क्या क्या होते हैं?
Poison.
So see, poise and
इसको पॉइस कहते हैं। वन पॉइस इक्वल टू 1 सेंटीमीटर पर सेंटीमीटर सेकेंड, और ये सीजीएस यूनिट्स है, सीजीएस यूनिट्स, एंड दिस इज एसआई यूनिट, न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर सेकंड। क्या मैं करके दिखाऊं कैसे कैसे आएगा ये? आपने किया होगा ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pascal second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know about how we achieve these units, meaning viscosity के जो CGS units हैं, they are dyne per centimeter square second, और जो SI units है, they are Newton per meter square second. Now if I ask you, क्या viscosity इंटेंसिव प्रॉपर्टी है? ऐसा आपने पढ़ा है क्या? इंटेंसिव होती है या एक्सटेंसिव होती है? You have read about thermodynamics.
Intensive.
क्या ये नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल्स पे डिपेंड करती है या नहीं? Viscosity of a liquid? Yes. Okay, answer is it is intensive. It does not depend
क्योंकि
on
मटेरियल
the
पे करेगी
amount
सिर्फ।
of liquid. Amount से मतलब क्या हुआ? अभी हम बात कर रहे थे ना, जैसे हमने लेयर्स दिखाई थी, हम बात कर रहे थे इंटरमोलिकुलर इंटरेक्शंस की। तो अगर हम वाटर की विस्कोसिटी की बात करेंगे, तो इसकी विस्कोसिटी की वैल्यू फिक्स आती है। मान लो x पॉइस आ गई एक टेम्परेचर पे, एट T1 टेम्परेचर। तो हम कभी ये नहीं बोलते कि 1 किलोग्राम वाटर की इतनी विस्कोसिटी है, 2 किलोग्राम की इतनी होगी, 10 लीटर की इतनी होगी, ऐसा नहीं बोलते ना, because it does not depend upon amount of water. It depends upon intermolecular interactions. Stronger the interactions, more is the viscosity, that we have shown an example also. So it is an intensive property which depends on intermolecular interactions. It doesn't depend upon amount of a system. ठीक है बच्चों? हटा दो इसको। Now we have a very important equation that you have used for experimental determination of viscosity. Now experimental determination of ये तो किया हुआ है ना आप लोगों ने. You have used Ostwald viscometer and क्या फॉर्मूला होता है बताएगा कोई मेरे को?
सर V equals to pi by 8.
Poisson equation पढ़िए ना? Poisson
Yes, sir.
equation. This is
Yes sir,
neta.
pi by 8 p into r की power 4 divided upon eta L volume per unit time.
ये नहीं था क्या?
Yes sir, यही है ये.
हाँ यही है ना. इसको आप दूसरे तरीके से कह रहे हो शायद.
Yes sir.
Okay. I remember it like pi r4 pt upon 8 lv. Now this r stands for radius of capillary tube. P stands for pressure head. T is what? Time of flow.
Time of flow.
And L stands for length of capillary tube. V stands for volume of liquid. And we use Ostwald viscometer, which has a smaller bulb like this. It is a U tube. It has a larger bulb at the bottom or lower part, you can say. It has a pipe, rubber pipe, and which is attached to a pinch cock from where we can tight it. And okay, tight करने का जरूरत नहीं है इसके अंदर. This is not required. Only pipe is there. Pinch cock is required in stylogometer. So you have this pipe, rubber tube, you can say. And what we normally do from this side, we start putting our liquid and we try to fill this viscometer till half of the bigger bulb is filled. And we see the liquid to be like this. Once we fill it like this, we try to suck it up from this side, and we have two marks, mark A and mark B. And here inside it, we have a capillary tube. Here you can say. So when the liquid comes up, it will start coming up when you suck it, and a point will come when this liquid will cross this upper mark A. When this crosses this upper mark A will stop sucking and allow the liquid to come down. When it comes down, it will pass through this capillary tube, which is here. And I was telling that in this capillary tube, R is the radius, L is the length, and V is volume of the liquid between the two mark A and B, which will pass through this capillary tube. Okay. My figure drawing capacity is not very good. So you have to just understand. You have seen this viscometer, I think, in the lab. So first thing is we fill it to the 50% of the bulb. Then we suck it up and note down the time of flow when it comes down between mark A and B. And here in this equation, if we talk about pi, it is a constant. For capillary tube, R is also constant, L is constant. V we had made constant between the two mark A and B, meaning that we will be taking two liquids, liquid 1, which is unknown, liquid 2, which is water, whose viscosity is known to us. And when I take two liquids, neta 1 upon neta 2. Now, since these are constant, pi is constant, R is constant, 8, L, V, all are constant, will depend upon P1 upon T1, P2 into T2. Now, P further depends upon H, rho, and G. H is constant, G is constant. So P1 by P2 will be further rho 1 by rho 2. Rho is density of liquid. पढ़ा हुआ नहीं सब आप लोगों ने? Here 2 stands for water. So if I know viscosity of water, we'll find out time of flow of the two liquids T1 and T2. Put it here. Density also we can determine. It is ratio of mass and volume. So in the lab, we can take a non-volume and determine its mass. So by this formula, we can find out density of both the liquids. So viscosity of unknown liquid can be determined using this Ostwald viscometer. सबको समझ में आया क्या?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now there are some questions. I move fast because I know you have done it. You might have be knowing all these equations. Now, question number 1 is, suppose in this viscometer, I change radius of the capillary tube. We have 2 viscometer now. I've changed the viscometer whose radius is now doubled. So if I double the radius, then what will happen to viscosity of the liquid? कितने टाइम बढ़ जाएगी?
It would remain the same, I guess.
It
Yes.
remains the same.
It will remain the same, sir.
सेम कैसे रहेगा? यहाँ तो देख रहे हो ना, नीटा इज प्रोपोर्शनल टू RA पर 4. सेम क्यों रहेगा रचित?
Velocity adjust हो जाएगी accordingly.
वेलोसिटी की तो यहाँ बातें नहीं कर रहे हम. वेलोसिटी थोड़ा ना, ये तो वॉल्यूम है. यस शिवानी, आपने भी कहा था अभी सेम रहेगी. हरीश?
Experimentally same रहती है.
नहीं तो यहाँ पे इक्वेशन, फिर ये इक्वेशन गलत हो गया या तो. हरीश?
सर टाइम ऑफ फ्लो कम हो
सर टाइम
जाएगा.
ऑफ फ्लो कम हो जाएगी.
Okay, that's good. So you are all of you are right, and it is good that you know about this. If I change value of R or length also, sometimes we ask whether the length, if we change the length of the capillary tube, what will happen to viscosity? इस formula में जो दिख रहा है, that is interconnected. When I change R or L, the time of flow is going to change, and as a result, neta will remain constant. So neta or viscosity does not depend on radius of the capillary or length of the capillary or any other factor like we write here H, because H is also going to get cancelled, and similarly G. So these are some questions which are asked normally in Viva. So I just discussed with you. So this is all about experimental determination of viscosity. हो गया नोट बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next time we'll move forward. अभी time हो गया आपकी class का, and I really do not know what has went wrong when we started the class. मैं उसमें organizer क्यों नहीं था? मुझे लगा मैंने इसको मैंने fix किया था class को, तो मुझे ही होना चाहिए था. But पता नहीं क्या हुआ. और secondly, next week में हमारा जो first class होता है Wednesday को वो होगा, लेकिन Thursday वाला जो class है, अब मैं उसको नहीं लेना चाह रहा क्योंकि हमारा सिलेबस काफी हो चुका है. अब मुझे सिर्फ 2 क्लास और चाहिए होंगी आपकी, जिसमें हम इसको फिनिश करेंगे विस्कोसिटी को और सरफेस टेंशन को. तो ओनली 2 टॉपिक्स आर लेफ्ट. वन इज वेरी यू कैन से 50% ऑफ द टॉपिक एंड अनदर इज वन मोर टॉपिक. तो नेक्स्ट वीक से हमारी क्लास वेडनेसडे को होगी और थर्सडे को नहीं होगी. ठीक है बच्चों?
Okay, sir.
ओके सर.
ओके. और कोई भी आपके डाउट्स हैं आप मुझे भेज सकते हो व्हाट्सएप पर, फोन करके बता सकते हो. वी विल डिस्कस इट इन द क्लास. और जरूरत होगी तो मैं क्लास भी लूंगा, फिर थर्सडे की भी लूंगा, और उसके ज्यादा जरूरत होगी तो हम कोई और भी फिक्स कर सकते हैं. लेकिन अभी मुझे लगता है कि वी कैन गो लाइक दिस बिकॉज वी हैव full month of February. We have we'll have 4 classes and we can discuss our doubts or problems, anything that you want. Okay. Assignment तो आप कर ही रहे हैं सब लोग. चलिए ठीक है. Next time we'll meet. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
बाय।
Thank you, sir.
Sir, attendance.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ अटेंडेंस में ले रहा हूँ, संजना ने फिर याद नहीं दिलाया।
Sorry, sir.
Yes, हो गई अटेंडेंस।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So have a nice day.